I wanted to chat about this particular video because I saw it over the week and it just had cajillions of views and everybody retweeting it and talking about how much they identified with the video or how much they hated it or how much they think it's baloney or how much they think it's great. So I figured that we would go over this and let's come to the real conclusion, okay? I don't want any of this fake conclusions from the internet, okay? Twitter sucks. Twitter sucks so bad, specifically with AI, because it's going to make you feel bad no matter what. So we're not going to do that. Let's do this.
AI has completely one-shotted my ability to code. Like, I know a lot of us like to joke about AI psychosis and how it's the other people who have AI psychosis and not us, and not me, certainly. But I have realized that I have been one-shotted. Like, I can't code anymore.
By the way, we do use the term AI psychosis to describe too many things. Technically, AI psychosis should be that your perception of reality actually differs from what reality is, meaning that you actually think, your coworkers are actually out to get you. So, it's kind of like you're going borderline schizophrenic, right? You've lost the plot. You're no longer there. So I think we use the term psychosis maybe a little too easily. But I guess you could make the
I
argument that if
have
you think
realized
AIs
that
can
I have been
code,
one-shotted.
then therefore, or AIs can code better than everybody else, then therefore you have been kind of diverged from reality. Okay, I could buy that.
Like, I can't code anymore. My brain has been fried by the easy button that the LLM companies have provided, where you press a button and you get instant results. And now my dumbass brain, when I want to sit there and try to code by hand, it says, why would you do that? Why would you code by hand when you could press a button and get similar results, seemingly? Why the hell would you do this by hand, you idiot?
Chat, how many of you guys feel the same? Give me a little one. Dude, I love how, look at Twitch go, and YouTube still's like, dude, we haven't even heard the question. YouTube's like, you guys have questions? Okay, hey, welcome to the party, YouTube. Welcome to the party. Everybody is actually done with the question, YouTube. Okay, so I do have a lot to say about that. I do think that there's a whole bunch to that makes a lot of sense. There's two types of easy buttons. There's easy button number one, which is I don't know how to spawn a process from JavaScript or TypeScript or Bun or whatever, and I want to spawn a process and be able to listen to the standard out and standard error and get the exit code when it's done. Can you please give me an example of that? That is a huge easy button. Like, we have to all agree that is one of the greatest things ever. You just have some extremely specific question that you yourself understand every part about it. You just don't know how to build it or express it in this particular circumstance. To me, that's where I absolutely love AI, because I don't have to go on Stack Overflow and try to search through all of its crap just to find one. As search, I absolutely love it. It's the other side that I find myself getting increasingly more frustrated with it, which is I just don't even want to do the CSS. Hey, make it for me. Hey, make it for me. And then I kind of realized that everything I build just is super mediocre. I'm not really happy with it. You know what I mean? I remember back in the day when I would make little game stuff, there wasn't a huge amount of effort put into how I shaped stuff. Instead, I spent a huge amount of effort into, okay, this doesn't feel right. Okay, this doesn't feel right. Okay, this doesn't feel right. And I just keep on iterating on it over and over and over and over, right? Where I would end up playing a certain portion of a game 9,000 times to just get the exact right, perfect feeling. And I just don't think there's a way to, okay, guys, you got, what the hell? No one does this, and now you guys are doing this right in the middle of a soliloquy? Guys, I'm soliloquacious right now, and you're just interrupting with your generosity. Thanks for the support. I can't have a coherent thought when you do this. I used to have this thought that was boiling. We were coming to a climax, okay? We just got over the foreplay, and I was about to give you guys such an amazing climax, and guess what? Now I can't remember what the hell I was talking about, okay? Let's just try to go back in. I know it's about the easy button and being able to press that. I will say this. I don't know if I said this. I'm not even looking at chat for a second. You're going to distract me. I'll bring it back up. What am I saying? That there is this problem that I have where if I end up solving a problem with AI, I find that I solve more problems with AI. If I don't solve problems with AI, then I continue to be just fine not doing it. I know that sounds super stupid, but just let me explain. I'm not looking at chat. Just give me a second, Excelion. Let me just finish this thought. The more I lean into this black box, the less I'm able to comprehend what is produced. Because I am of the personal opinion that a software engineer cannot possibly review more than about 150 lines at one time and actually know what's happening. Beyond that, you start to really lose the content or the context of what's happening, and then you just end up being really bad at your review. You start letting a bunch of stuff kind of slip through and all that. And so I find that when I start running, it's like I have to keep on doing it because my context and my grip on the project has completely slipped. And so the easy button becomes more and more easy to touch. And then I feel bad that I'm not doing that because there's this weird subconscious thing, despite the fact that consciously I've said, lines of code make no difference. But when you see plus 2000 and you're like, dude, I just made a bunch of features, there is something that is a bit addictive to that, where you're just like, oh yeah, dude, like I just made a bunch of features. I did a bunch of stuff. It's not that it's actually like, what will it look like in 6 months? Is it actually workable? Do you notice that I don't currently have alerts or voice on my stream? Well, that's because I broke it due to vibe coding. And now I just am in this really weird spot where it's just like, I got to go figure out how to fix that in the world's slowest loop. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that I have code that I don't know how it works.
You do this by hand, you idiot. And so now I'm like, I need to ship a software product, but I'm completely at the mercy of the AI companies to build a model for me that can do my job. But there's a couple problems with that. One is that responsible developers are presumably supposed to be like reviewing their code. In practice, everyone knows that you can't review AI code. Not only is it impossible to keep up with the AIs. They want to move like 1,000 miles per hour, and we're here like 30 miles per hour, like reading, trying to understand every line. It's impossible to keep up with. And so the question is, well, can we ship products without reviewing the code?
By the way, he's right on that one. You can. Like the people that are like, I'm reviewing 10,000 lines of code a day. I'm like, no, you're not. You've literally never read 10,000 lines of code in a day. No, you haven't. Shut up. You're lying to me. You're lying to the forest. You're lying on Twitter. You're lying for clout. You're lying so that a VC invests in you, okay? That's the truth, 100%. Now, if you say, I lightly look at it and make sure it's not doing something excessively dumb or at least glaringly dumb, okay, you could probably do that. But the problem is once the change sets grow beyond a certain amount and now you're just looking at small change sets, you don't know what kind of just absolute insane state spaghetti that's going on because you're just looking at a little change and you're like, okay, this looks okay, right? But you don't really realize just how insane it actually is. And so, yes, he's right. He's 100% right. If you use it, you truly can't keep up with it. We're not designed to be able to go through that kind of content. That's okay. I mean, that's what Mr. Altman and Dario is trying to sell us, is that we don't need to go through it anymore. You know, we let Dario take the wheel. He's going to tell us how to live our lives and what kind of code we're going to create, and everything's going to be great, and we're all going to have society and it's going to be fantastic if we just stop reading code.
And so the question is, well, can we ship products without reviewing the code? And in recent videos, I've been trying to warm up to that idea because it is what I need to ship my product. Take OpenClaw as proof of that. Peter Steinberger never looked at the code. It's huge. It's a monstrosity. He's never looked at the code. And he's testament to just what can be done, I guess. If you don't care about the code, it's no secret that if you don't look at the code, you'll go really fast. In my last video,
he's 100% right. Anybody want to argue that? Right? OpenClaw is 100% the greatest testament to that, which is that they have somehow, he has somehow acquired more stars than Linux and React. I'm not even so I'm not making a quantitative statement about how good or bad the code is. I'm simply making an observation of he did not look at the code and was somehow able to make something in which ultimately got him a job at OpenAI, right?
My last video, I likened vibe coding to essentially evolution with natural selection, where evolution seemingly has no idea what it's doing. To code up something as precise as a hand, it doesn't say, hey, I want to make a hand. How do I code it up? No, it tries random things. And if it passes the tests, it adds it to the DNA stack. As long as you survive, you'll add your DNA to the gunk of the DNA code base, which is absolutely incomprehensible, inscrutable, and yet it made us. And so it's like, well, if evolution can do that, why can't I have this LLM, which is not even, it's better than random, clearly. And if you pit it up with some tests, as long as it passes those tests, then why can't I do something like evolution does? Like, if it's good enough to make me, it's good enough to make my damn to-do app. Yesterday was a perfect.
I have a lot of thoughts on it. I'm going to try to keep this as concise as possible. I think that if an LLM had 1 billion years to make an app, and you also had the truest and most real test conditions, assuming that everything else can line up and everything else we can take as complete fact, yeah, it could probably create that to-do app without any problems. But we don't quite, here's the problem, is that in real world, just using his evolutionary argument, you die when you got bad DNA. In LLM land, when you have bad code, your users get hacked and you might go to jail. But there's no feedback loop, right? There's no like, oh, okay, this branch of DNA didn't work. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like, oh, okay, we got to quit producing. This DNA will never get produced again because it just keeps on going to jail. Instead, it's just like, yo, dog, I'm going to keep producing this over and over again until somehow we've made it to the point where its occurrence in the training data overtakes whatever was the thing before it that caused it to occur. Absolutely beautiful. Can you guys stop DNA shaming my to-do app? Oh, no. All right, let's keep on going.
To-do app. Yesterday was a perfect opportunity to test that hypothesis. ChatGPT 5.4 came out yesterday and everyone's somewhat raving about it. So I was like,
by the way, I hate every time a new model comes out. Every time a new model comes out, can I just tell you what happens? It's just my least favorite. It's my least favorite thing of all time. All right, so a couple things happen. One, previous model, whatever previous model was, now is identical to a bowl of dog water. Okay, it's just the worst stuff in the universe. Okay, everybody hates it. Oh, you're using whatever? That sucks. That one's trash. It's always trash. Whatever. It doesn't matter how good it was last week. It is utter garbage now. Two, the new one definitely has feelings. People start talking about its feelings. And then, of course, this like kind of subs AGI, ASI, all that crap. Three, you get the crypto bros that are now AI bros that are coming in here selling even more tools, being like, dude, here's the breakdown. And then you get just all the LinkedIn bullshit posts that happen. Very, very annoying. And this happens every single time a new model comes out. And I just hate it. And then the worst part is in approximately 2 to 3 weeks, when we recover from the release of the model, everyone then goes back and goes, no, actually this new one, it's actually trash. No, actually this new model, it's the trash model. I hate this model. I just hate it. It's just trash. I hate it.
Somewhat raving about it. So I was like, okay, let's try that. The directive that evolution seemingly gives to natural organisms is don't die. And as long as you do that, you're doing something good. And so I was like, all right, what is the directive for me to make my product go from not existing on the internet to existing on the internet and
don't go to jail?
Getting customers. And so I was like, okay, well, the app is currently on my machine. It's on localhost, but I need it to be deployed to an actual environment.
Was he about to make the joke like, hey, check out my website? It's localhost. He was really close to making that joke. You can see it's this close.
And I need people to be able to hit the download button and be able to sign up and start using the app. So I was like, okay, that is the validation criteria. That's a survival. That's the end result. Now, in theory, I should be able to give that end result to an LLM model. And if I give it the right environment, if I give it the right tools, then it should be able to automate that result from start to finish. So that's what I did. I gave Codex 5.4. It had access to the AWS command line. It had access to the GitHub API so that I could read the pipelines and see how things are doing. It could commit the code. I said, just do it all. I'm not going to look at the code. And so I started it on that prompt and it worked. You go on shape.work right now, you can hit the download button. Everything works, it's there. But there's a problem. I have no idea who I am anymore in this process. Software is like, especially in the ground phases, in the early day zero phases, it's supposed to be a really intimate thing between you as the provider and the users that you are trying to sell your product to. You're offering your users something.
So I do have to jump in here. So this is where my own things that I have said in the past come back in some sense to truly haunt me. And I think this is one of those moments, which is that this line of reasoning I've always found to be kind of bad. Reason being is that the users don't care how hard you work. They don't. Nobody cares how hard you work. Very, very easy and very, very obvious point. Go check out High Guard. Yeah, you know the game that's closing down here any moment? Yeah, that game that just closed down. Like, what they spent 4 years of effort, absolutely did all the work in the universe to make a game work. I mean, I'm sure it was a fine game. I'm sure if like mechanically speaking, the game was probably pretty nice. You could run around, you could play relatively bug free, you could experience the game. Nonetheless, nobody cared that these people worked hard. Yeah, Concord 3. I thought Marathon was supposed to be Concord 3. This one was Concord 2, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, it's like nobody cares about it. Nobody cared that people spent, some people started off as a junior and made it all the way to mid-level during a single game and learned a huge amount of information from it and became a great game developer, only to have their game be met with, yeah, this game sucks. Nice job. Totally missed the mark, right? That's like where I have this like whole problem right now. And I personally am kind of swirling on that because I subscribe to that thought. Does it matter if you used a product in which was AI created or not, and you just didn't know? Would you pay money just to have one that's not? My guess is that there's going to be some people in chat that are going to go, actually, I would pay more money for an AI product. I just don't know if I believe you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I believe anybody to do that. I think that you would pick the product that works the best. Whatever it is, you would just pick the product that works the best. And I think this is most obvious in video games. And I think gaming is the most obvious. That's kind of like this problem that I'm seeing is that he's saying, well, okay, I can build all these things, but then who am I? I don't know what his argument is yet. We haven't got there. But my problem, like my whole contention this entire time has been, nobody actually cares how hard you do or don't work with it. Nobody actually cares if you're super emotionally connected or not connected to the product. Generally speaking, I think people that are really strongly emotionally connected to the product build better products. I at least personally believe that. There's a couple video games that have proven that differently, Concord being number one, but generally speaking, I think that that's actually true. I think people that are more aligned with the product build better products. This is where me, in the abstract sense, I go, I think it's better to build big projects and slow down and figure out exactly what you want and make good decisions versus just rush it out, AI slopificate it, and just get it out so people will use it. I personally think the former is better. But then me, in the practical sense, goes, well, if they produce a better product and I have no idea, then they win. They won the game. They were able to do it with lower cost, build it faster. I guess I'm the dumb one for thinking they should do it the other way.
Offering your users something more than just commodity software that they can get from Microsoft or Google or something. You're offering something like artisanal, handcrafted, really close support, a really tight feedback loop. And yet, what I created here is something that I have no emotional attachment to. I'm unable to sell it. I'm unable to offer it to my users because I have no feelings towards it, because I didn't do anything. I didn't earn it. I didn't suffer for it. I've created this hot dog that.
By the way, I actually can relate with this so much. I've created a lot of projects just recently to kind of get some things off the ground for me, including how I do image retrieval and all that. When I jump in here and I'm just like, yo, give me some Microsoft. I just want to be able to have a bunch of stupid images that I can just pull up really, really fast. But I would never talk about this as a product because I just vibe coded it. And honestly, it's not like something I'd go, oh, dude, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it because I have no pride in it. And so I completely feel like I can understand. Well, I can't believe I just showed my history. James Brown sex robot cartoon. Crazy. Absolutely insane thing right there. Okay. So I feel like I really get that kind of attachment where if you have no pride in something, it is kind of hard to sell it, at least, or it's hard to feel really good about something. I think I get that.
Created this hot dog that it's presumably food, but no one really knows what's inside. It's just encased in some kind of synthetic wrapper, and it's here's food, and you take the hot dog and you put it in the sandwich. It fits in the sandwich. You put the ketchup or not, and you take a bite. You're like, this.
Can we just 1 second? Saying that it fits in the sandwich is just such a weird statement.
Tastes good. This tastes like food. It's calories. And so the transaction has been completed. You pay money, you get some calories, but I can't do that. I can only work on something that I'm passionate about. And the second I lose interest in something, you can't pay me $1 billion to do it. I can't work on something I'm not passionate about. And now I've seemingly created a hot dog business and my job is to sell it. Well, I don't want to do that. Typically,
all right, so I have to jump in there. This typically resembles a position of where you have the privilege to say no. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people in this chat right now that for $50,000 would be glad to work on a project, would be stoked, would be out of their damn mind to work on a project that they don't care about. I know a lot of you feel this way. Trust me, it's one of those things where saying no is most certainly a sign that you've been able to achieve some level of success. My first job was in fact not very glamorous. My second job, not glamorous. It was really, in fact, I hated my second job so bad, but I just had to do it. Like I just absolutely 100% had to do it. And it was at $50,000. And I just did it. I remember sitting in my car praying to God going, you got to give me the patience to do this because I'm going to lose my effing mind. I am going to lose my marbles. I hate this so bad, but I got to do it. I just have to do it. I had no choice. And then I'm trying to like convince myself that I got to learn how to be okay with stuff. And so when I see this and someone's just like, well, I couldn't ever sell a business that I don't, take pride in or all these kind of things. My very first thought is, well, there's a lot of people that do. There's a lot of people who absolutely do and will 100% not even blink to sell whatever you're talking about. And to put it into like the proper perspective, right, to really kind of nail this home, you're arguing whether or not you should be selling software that you don't feel proud about. Meanwhile, there's people that are going into my YouTube comments and trying to scam people out of their money. Okay, there's people that will do anything for money. They have no worry about this idea that, I just don't really feel good about it. They're just like, yo, fuck your grandma. Yo, your grandma got money. I'm going to take your grandma's money. I hate her. And it's just like crazy. Anything, question mark? Yeah, I'm sure if they could get paid $10,000 to suck dick, they'd do that. Okay, they would do anything. This is turning into the half-baked episode. What, marijuana? Marijuana ain't a drug. You ever suck dick from marijuana? No, I can't say that I have. It's like one of my favorite scenes of all time. All right, and so it's just like when I see this, that's the thing I think about. I love that this guy has convictions and passion, but the world is going to go that direction. Like whether we like it or we don't like it, it just doesn't matter anymore. I think one of the scarier parts is that how many of these companies are going to just be fake companies that offer something and just simply pop up to take money and then die. Because now you can. Like now you can actually, like that's much more realistic to do stuff.
As craftspeople, as developers, as engineers, as artists, the art changes us while we work on it because we struggle and we suffer for it. We work for it. We go to sleep uncertain about how we're going to solve this problem, and we wake up with a solution, and we're excited by that and enlivened by that. And all.
By the way, that is so good. For those that actually, because I know half my chat here likes to LARP that they used to know how to write code, and now they're just, actually, I just use AI now. Now you never knew how to write code, okay? Okay. For those that actually knew how to write code, and then you were able to write code a whole bunch, then did you used to go to sleep or take a shower and your mind was just spinning on a problem? Tell me, like that wasn't a thing. That 100% has been taken when I work on an AI project. Isn't that frustrating? You most certainly don't feel the same kind of, whatever that is. Like that was a really great thing. Which, by the way, just so you guys know, every single morning for about 2 hours, 2 to 4 hours, depending on the morning, I do that kind of coding. I purely hand code, do not allow myself to do any generation. I do allow myself to do searching. So if you remember earlier, I talked about the tutorial thing. Here's the tutorial thing. Here's exactly how to do it. Like I'll use this. I'll have it create me one of these and kind of go over this and be like, oh, okay, this is really interesting, blah, 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 blah. Okay, super duper. Or I'll say, hey, I'm doing this fix. Can you tell me if I've done this fix? And then it'll say, hey, you've missed these parts. Like I do that, but I don't let myself vibe code just because I want projects that I have connection to that I actually want to really love. You know what I mean? I want to feel like I own it and that I want to complete it. I want to be in it. I want to keep on pushing on it because I actually enjoy it, for the sake of enjoying it. And I also have this personal opinion that if you aren't doing the little things, you can't do the big things. Meaning that if you are just vibe coding, I don't think you have the ability to review code anymore. After 2 to 3 months, I think your ability to spot bad code goes way down. After 6 months, I don't think you have the ability at all. I think you're just you've become so rotted or atrophied, maybe is the better term for that. You become so atrophied that you You can no longer make small decisions about stuff anymore. That's a pretty well documented thing. There's been philosophers that talked about it. We've talked about it on stream. It's been mentioned in various papers. It's just a regular part of life. If you don't do the little things, you can't do the big things.
All that is gone now. There's no more suffering or struggling for things and being changed by things and having your brain expand and grow. You no longer become a better person by doing projects. That was the number one way everybody like me figured out how to launch a business or how to become a developer if you were self-taught. You did it by just doing things, and now we're all making hot dogs. I don't know how to feel any kind of emotional bond to the output of my work anymore. I have a sense that a lot of us may be in this sort of like liminal waiting space where no one has any idea what's happening anymore. You have like World War III starting between countries and other countries, World War III between governments and AI labs. You have
not only that, but you also, I mean, even worse, you also have like Sam and Dario refusing to hold hands. Like, I mean, there's something real bad going on, okay? We got World War III, we got Defense, Department of War, and no one's holding hands. Did they have a breakup? Yeah, they did years ago. I don't know if you know this, but Dario used to be a part of OpenAI. It's true. He used to be a part of OpenAI. I don't think he likes Sam. Look at that. Look at the dude. This is my favorite picture on the internet, though. Oh, no. What do we do?
Governments and AI labs. You have the looming threat of AI putting us all out of work, figuring out what use we have anymore. In the meantime, we're distracting ourselves with like McDonald's new sandwich and the Shape Store. I think everyone is in mass psychosis and we don't even realize it. And I don't even know what could be done anymore. We're holding our breath for these two AI labs to figure out what is the caliber of these models. Are our jobs safe or not? And it's why you have two very heated camps trying to adapt to the new world. One camp says, you're going to get left behind. Here's how you adapt. You got to use the tools. The other camp says, no, these LLMs are idiotic statistical machines. Like, you'll get left behind if you use them. And honestly, that's the camp that I'm feeling like I'm in. I've used these tools and now I've one-shotted my brain. My brain is completely useless now. It has no use for coding. The only way for me to get it back, I can get it back, but I would have to just delete Codex, uninstall it, cancel my subscription. I'm not going to do that realistically because there will be some tasks that I know AI will be good for. But here's the problem.
Dude, dude. This is precisely why I forced myself for some period of time to code every single day with just like I'm not allowed to generate code because of this exact reason. That like exactly what he said. Well, okay, but I'm not going to use it anymore. But also there is this just one thing that it's really good at. You know, I'm just guys. I just need just a little bit. I just need a little bit. You know, like you watch it and you go, yeah, I see why it happens. Like I'm not even like upset at the guy or upset at the situation. It's extremely obvious why people do this. And you can feel it yourself. Anybody who's done this can feel it. Genuinely believe people can become addicted to this stuff. Dude, it elicits all the right stuff. It goes fast. It makes a bunch of swirly colors like you're on a slot machine. Green, blue, green, blue, green, blue, green, or green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red. I just did 1,000 lines. Dude, it's exciting. You get to go to the website. You get to hit refresh and see, does it work? Does it not work like it has? Oh my gosh, it worked. Oh, I just one-shotted this feature that would have taken me all day. Oh my gosh. Right? Like, it most certainly exhibits a lot of stuff that feels like an addiction. You know what I mean?
That I know AI will be good for. But here's the problem. You can say like, okay, just do the really hard stuff yourself. And when it comes to like a laborious, mundane task, just have the AI do it. And that's what I tried. But what happens is you're working on something really hard. And so you spend like a day doing it, you're coding. And by the end of it, you're like, man, that was hard. It was rewarding, but it was hard. And then you're like, okay, let's have the AI now wire everything up. So you say, AI, wire everything up for me. And it does it in like 10 minutes and it one-shots it and you're like, oh wow, that was really easy. Why don't I do this more often? It's a real drug, man. I think it is. It's the best way to describe it is it's a drug and you can't wean off. Once you do it, you just want to do it all the time. And the only way to regain your sense of humanity.
Because I used to use Copilot a bunch. I've actually been off the Copilot. I learned how to, for those that don't know, I switched from Dvorak back to QWERTY. so that way I can jump on my kid's computer and just type with him. I don't have to, I can be on his I can be on his school computer and help him with math. I can be anywhere and I don't have to be like, how do I type, right? I didn't have to do that anymore. So I just said, okay, I'm going to learn how to type on QWERTY and I'm just going to leave Dvorak behind. And so I took off. I made sure that I don't have something like Super Maven running, because if I had something like Super Maven running, I wouldn't regain the skills of kind of navigating Vim and coming back to the point of being good. And I remember the first time that I quit using an inline autocomplete, which was Copilot. When I quit using that, there was this huge period of time where I'd go something like this. I'd be like, and then I'd just sit there. And it's like I developed like a Pavlovian response of tut, 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 stop, wait for gray text. Okay, gray text happened. Go! Right? Like I actually had this whole thing that took me so long to stop doing. That was only with just autocomplete. It's kind of wild, like how quick your brain will adapt to kind of information coming in and how you find something convenient or inconvenient. Typing a for loop has never been inconvenient, but then when I was in the throes of it, dude, typing a for loop was like,
is to get rid of the drug altogether. There's no middle ground of like Mondays and Tuesdays I'll do crack, Wednesdays a little bit of heroin, but Friday through Sunday I'm going to be clean, I promise.
He doesn't even talk about Thursday. Well, what happens on Thursday? Is Thursday just recovery day? Like what goes on that day? I want to know.
No, it's not going to happen. You got to go cold turkey. And for me right now, I'm unwilling to do that because it's just gotten so bad. The dependence has gotten so bad. My livelihood is at stake here. It used to be, if you were an engineer, you could always like go take a 1-year sabbatical and go like work on some woodworking projects.
I never had that as an engineer. I just want to throw that out there. I've never been able to take a sabbatical. Just throwing it out there. A sabbatical? Yes, a sabbatical, I assume, is where you just stop doing stuff. Bro, you've got 4 kids and a beautiful wife. You're different. Yes, I chose a much more difficult life. And so if I stopped working, I would have to just go find more workings. In fact, to be completely honest, 2.5 years ago, I told one of my friends, which you guys probably know, Rockstar, at least the live crowd probably knows, the one that made Flightcast, the software with him and Diary of a CEO and all that. And I talked to him and I said, there's probably no universe that exists in which I can go full-time streaming. I just assumed I always had to work full-time at the Netflix and just do streaming because I was in it for the love of the game. What is a sabbatical? A sabbatical is just taking a prolonged break to kind of like recenter yourself. Teachers typically get this, like university professors typically get like every 8 years, right? They get a semester off or something along those lines in which they get some sort of paid break to be able to go and understand life and then to come back and be able to be better at their job, right? I think that's supposed to be the point of it, is that it helps you kind of break the mundaneness of everything and come back with a fresh perspective. Yeah, they also get summer break, which is kind of bullshit. They get summer break plus a sabbatical. Now that you say that, I'm kind of pissed off. Now I'm just kind of angry. Oh, I need a sabbatical. Oh, this university job's so hard. I need a sabbatical I just need a sabbatical. Just shut up. Oh my gosh.
Like cutting boards that you'll sell online or something. But you could always just hop right back into another dev job, right? That was always the premise before AI. Every single developer, probably the reason we're so cocky, right?
True.
Everyone who's not a developer hates developers. That's why they love seeing AI take us over. We were so cocky because
Is that true? Non-developers hate developers? I've never experienced that. I also don't live in the Bay, where there is definitely a higher degree of annoying developers. We're actually changing the world. Besides for those ones, if you take out we're changing the world, I don't think the average person hates developers. I think the average person doesn't really care at all. Can we all agree to that? No, the peasants love me. Changing the world for the better. No, they're just changing the world. That's it. Progress. Whatever that means, we're going for it. It's kind of how I feel about AI. AI is progress for the sake of it.
We knew that you needed us and we could step away and you'd beg us to come back, and every developer could go take a 1 year off and come back to like a higher paying job than they had before. And now I don't know if that's the same reality we live in anymore. What does the interview look like today? Could I get a job as an engineer? What does it mean to be an engineer now? How do I impress an interviewer? Like, what's my resume? Like,
can I throw something out? The reason why not knowing what an engineer is because programming was in fact never engineering, cinema. Okay. I'm revealing this is the great reveal of the day. I hate to break it to you. We've never been engineers. Okay. Hey, yeah. When was the last time you did dimensional analysis, loser? Which one of you, while you're programming? Oh, no. Type masturbation does not count as dimensional analysis. Those are two different statements. Wait, you guys don't drive trains? Just say it. Just say it. Engineering is probably, let's see. Engineering is probably only during university. True.
What's my resume? Like, oh, I could code JavaScript at 3 miles an hour? Like, what value is that anymore? I don't know. And you know, what it means to be in a job. I don't know what anything means anymore. It's a form of psychosis, honestly. The only way is to delete these tools. Honestly, I may have just talked myself up to do that, man. Like, seriously, I may have to become like anti-AI. Like, I don't know, man.
By the way, I love these type of YouTube videos. I know I've seen a couple comments saying people don't like this kind of YouTube videos. I love these kind of YouTube videos because I love watching someone in real time kind of come to their own conclusions. I'm more of a talk it out to discover what I think versus not like I can't. It's very hard for me just to be like, this is all the things I think about. It's more I have to like talk about it a whole bunch before I really realize, and it's fun watching it happen in real time. Because I totally get a sentiment, which is, I mean, this is why I became such a, hey, Copilot's actually bad for you person for some time, because I was just like, dude, it kind of effed me up. Like, I got so screwed up from it. And then now that I've like fully embraced, so to put a little context on this, I've created 2 applications in which I am required to maintain and improve, and I've only built them through vibe coding. I wanted to truly understand this kind of vibe coding world, and so the only way to really understand it is to put required applications for me and my company that are on the main path that require me to maintain it only through, only through vibe coding. So it's like, okay, I now feel this, like I feel token anxiety regularly. The fact that I'm doing this streaming and I'm not going through here and creating more of these things right here. This is my last little run right here, which is doing a bunch of analysis on the tests and why some things are failing. Like this really bothers me. I know for a fact that I should probably be thinking about a prompt that figures out why bun run test starts off super multi-threaded to begin with and everything is super, super fantastic. And then partway through, it stops being 15 workers and starts like stopping, right? It starts kind of coming in. Those are just like little Cloudflare storage or Cloudflare issues coming in. They're not actually real breaks, but it's just like that really bothers me. And now it's like there was a real break right there. I should be figuring out why that's happening, right? And it just kind of eats me alive. And I understand now why the thread pool is getting dried up. Yeah, I know the thread pool is getting dried up because you can see right here. Thread pool's gone, dog. What happened to the thread? Brother, where's my what happened to them? They used to be running in parallel. Now all of my items are printing off in order. You cannot tell me that they're printing off in order, okay? I refuse to believe it. You know what I mean? Right? I refuse to believe it. And so it died. And so I've been having this problem where it's like I put all these things on the main line so that I can feel it, so I can intentionally feel what does it feel like to put, not the stake, but to put some level of stake on vibe coding. And it's really frustrating. Like this thing right here, the fact that my TTS is broken right now really pisses me off. And I can't just go in there and fix it. I don't even know why it's broken. I don't even know what broke. I can't look at it and say, oh, this one part broke. I know nothing. I have to like coerce the AI into knowing why and getting it to surface the information to me. Then for me to take that information surface to me, hope it's correct, and send it back in. It is oddly frustrating in its own unique and weird way.
I'm like losing myself. I'm losing my ability to care about things. I'm losing my ability to care about like software art anymore. I can't sell this junk. It's working. Yes, it works. It's functional. It'll take you from point A to point B, but there's no pride in it for me. Maybe you'll just say, well, hey, how's that any different from hiring an employee who does all the work? But presumably you also hire like-minded people who are passionate. You don't want to hire a drone who just checks in and clocks out every day. No, you want to hire like-minded people who have the same passion. You can't hire a passionate LLM. And so the whole thing is just completely soulless. It's unsellable. I thought my hurdle was like an ethical qualm against vibe coding, but it turns out that even if I suspend my ethical dilemmas, you end up just with something you don't have any interest in selling. My only option forward is to write this by hand, but I've lost that skill. And I also know that it is.
By the way, I don't think you lose those skills. When people say they lost that skill, it only means one of two things. One, you were never good at it to begin with, right? I do not believe that if you did something for 10 years, I could take a break from coding for a year straight and not touch a keyboard. And I could come back on and I could start using Vim pretty quickly and start programming pretty quickly, right? Like I most certainly could just, it's not, you fall back into things really, really easily. And so I refuse to believe this whole like, I've completely lost it kind of thought process. I think what he's expressing is that he's lost the will to do it, meaning that at one point, writing software kind of produced this own dopamine cycle. It was longer. It was like the healthy dopamine, right? It's not that you have like dopamine, like a shorts. Instead, you have, oh, I have this hard problem. I'm going to work on it for several hours. Oh my gosh, I got it. Boom, hit, right? They consider that that's like a healthy dopamine response where you actually become better and better at what you do. It's how you actually become addicted to working on good things. And so I think you lose that experience. I think you lose the will to go through the difficult part to get to the end because you've done nothing but watch long form, multi-hour documentaries. And then you discovered shorts. And then you did nothing but watch shorts nonstop. And when you watch a documentary, you're like, oh Lord, what am I watching? Dude, just get to the point. I don't need to see these long drawn out shots of mountains. Just give me the information. Like you lose the ability to go over long times. That's what I think he's saying. I don't think he's saying that he's incapable now of programming. I just literally refuse to
Lost that skill. And I also know that it is a lot of work. LLMs remind us more than anything about how much work it was to actually ship a finished product. That stuff takes years, man. It does. And an LLM could do that for you. If you do the devil's bargain, it'll do that for you in like a day. What we do is, because the deal is so damn good, we change ourselves to make that deal acceptable. And what I've figured out now is that I'm unwilling to change myself to make that deal acceptable. I thought I'd be willing to because, hey, I want to be a savvy businessman who doesn't care about what the product is. You should be able to sell anything. And this is day one of me recognizing that I probably need to really delete ChatGPT. Am I the only one feeling this way? Like, what does it feel like to be an employee? What does it feel like to be someone looking for a job, to be disconnected from your work? Or are you having more fun at work? Like, what is going on? Please share your story. And if you think there's a way to make this all work that I'm missing, please let me know. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching.
All right, I'm going to say a couple things that I know are going to get me in trouble. So I'm just going to say them because I'm going to say them because that's just how that's the life I live, okay? I am under the firm opinion that when AI came out, if you just instantaneously jumped over and said this was the greatest thing ever, you were never a good programmer. You never actually went through the process of building anything big. You yourself never actually had the talent to do it. I am quite positive you were at best a non-coding architect, and now you got your hands on something that could be your coder for your non-coding architect. Like I just refuse to believe that. Everyone that I've ever known that was really good at programming, I know some of them who've now become super AI Andes, but it took a long time. At least it was like a slow process where they're just like, okay, I kept trying it. No, I didn't like this part. Yes, I did. And so I'm like, okay, yes, I understand how they got to that point, but at least they, it took a while. These people that just jumped in and were instantaneous, I'm just like, nah, I don't believe you. I don't even consider 4.5. So that's the thing, is I am under the opinion that 4.5 is also not that amazing. I am under the opinion that it's actually the harnesses and how they ask that are so good. I believe personally that you could probably use something like 3.7 on some of these latest harnesses that really know how to ask and set things aside and do all this stuff. I bet you could ask them. They would probably perform just like near well in a lot of these or a lot of these situations. Maybe not as well because of course 3.7 or 4.5 versus 3.7, much bigger context, all this kind of stuff. But to me, a lot of it has just been tuning, trying to figure out what the model should do. 3.7 was overly fixing. It'd go out of its way to fix a bunch of stuff. So if you just took that away and gave it better planning and longer prompts to be able to do all these things, I actually think that that's where a lot of the improvements come. I think we're kind of fooling ourselves to think that it was actually 4.5 that was the big change. Instead, I think it was everything around it that's actually been the next big thing. How many Kimmy K's did you get screwed? I didn't take Kimmy K slow enough. Kimmy K don't want to go slow, okay? Kimmy K wants to go fast. So you got to take Kimmy K and you got to force Kimmy K to go slow. Now, I generally knew what this video was about. So I did prepare a couple tweets for you guys because we all watched that and there was a lot of opinions in chat. There's some people over here saying that, yes, they were right. Yes, they were wrong. Like he was full of crap. I've seen tweets about being like, you can't. I saw one tweet by Ludwig. If you don't know who Ludwig is, he's God's chosen principal engineer. He's a goofball, but he's just like, no person that looks like this is allowed to be a 10x engineer. Okay, if you oil your beard, you're not allowed to be a 10x engineer. The guy's funny. The guy's funny on the internet. But may I present to you this amazing piece of tweet right here. We spoke to a company today whose security team is so concerned by AI code that they're considering banning AI tools. Your first reaction might be they're going to get left behind, but if you are practical, their concerns aren't invalid. If you are a huge multinational organization with tens of thousands of employees and they just got a button that appears to do their work, it's going to get pushed a lot. Tell me he's wrong. Somebody tell me he's wrong. Imagine having 10,000 employees and you've just given them Claude. Like, what the hell's going to happen to your organization? He's really right on these things. It would be actually impossible to know what the heck's happening because so many people are going to just be like, fix my bug. Kanban that bitch. And then boom. It's just like, got it. Let's see on. Our workplace banned AI tools until we fix all security issues with secrets and everything. Not shocking. Totally not shocking at all. Anyways, I just thought this was super interesting because this is like the opposite of what we hear. But what we hear out in the Twitter world is that if you don't do these things, you are completely left behind. Can I give you like a good argument as to why I don't think that is true? Remember, 2 years ago, during, what was this, Opus 3.5 days? Maybe Opus 3 days, right? Like a long time ago. ChatGPT 4.0, remember the sycophant one? How many times did you see on the internet that if you don't learn how to use these tools, you're going to get left behind? Probably a lot, right? I want you to think about every single skill that you developed and thought about during those times and how much of them apply at all today. Like virtually nothing. You would never use the AI like you did 2 years ago, like you do today. Shockingly, if you would not have adopted AI, you in fact would be just fine. It's almost like you've been lied to. It's almost like all those skills of, oh, you're going to get left behind if you don't use AIs right now because this is like the way the future's going. And then it turns out the future is so much different than what most people predicted that it's so different that those skills that you developed 2 years ago actually aren't even practical or useful now. All right, this one's kind of interesting right here, which I still haven't read through the report yet. I do know that it's on Claude Opus 4, not 4.5. To be completely fair, it's on that generation because it is 233 days, right? So it's older than Claude, than Opus 4.5 and 4.6. And so with that, they did this whole thing where most of the models started doing worse and worse and worse as time went on a code base that they were allowed to effectively run rampant on and to be able to do whatever changes they wanted. And so that's a real thing. Let's see, 4.6 is in the report and it does as well. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought it wasn't. Well, you don't have 200 and some days, right? You only have some amount, right? Yes, it doesn't matter. A study is worth something at least. It's good to at least consider it. So I thought that was really interesting. So again, this goes against the narrative that we should only be doing the vibe coding. This is why I still think that you should be doing hand coding every day. Even if you're a complete viber, even if you believe that vibing is the only future forward, you should like force yourself. At least like do it an hour a day. You know me. I like to do a little bit more, but you should try to do as much as you can. It's good for you. I think this is also a really interesting post, which is now that our code base is more mature, I can prompt iterative features into existence pretty easily. Test pass, UI works well, but man, the code is just not quite right. Uses more variables than it should. Things named poorly, hard to comprehend, inelegant. Do I fix it? Are these the things no longer relevant? Every atom in me says that they are relevant and add up to create a mess we pay for later. Of course, I shipped hacky things before AI, but I feel pushed to do that even more than my judgment wants to allow. Dax has a lot of good stuff on this. By the way, Dax is building an AI tool for this type of stuff. And even he's just like, I actually feel very hesitant about things. I don't know. These are good questions to ask yourself. This one I also need to read through. Again, I haven't read through this one, so this is kind of my more big thing that they have to read through, which is, does AI actually make things easier? Because a lot of people, I saw someone saying that, hey, they take what they used to do in 7 days, they now do in 3 days. Everything's easy. And it's just like, actually, no, you might work more now that you use AI. Intensify seems right. It does. It feels really right. And I think one of the reasons why it feels right, at least to me, is that when I am just doing like vibe coding stuff, I'm at the mercy of the model. I have to like do this thing where I will set up some context, ask a question or something to try to start building out the correct answer for it to fix itself. And then it goes and it comes back. And then I have to like go collect screenshots or do some more investigation myself. And then I have to send it back and then it goes off and it comes back with more information, right? Like I'm doing this iterative process to build up a plan with all the different things that I think have gone wrong to make this one larger bug kind of fall apart. I had this one thing where in my little script editor, going through all of this, being able to type stuff, right? This stuff right here, it would, upon refresh, cut off some of the text. And I tried many, many different prompts, and many of them just didn't quite work until I effectively figured out, hey, there was some testing stuff that was actually incorrect and had to kind of go through pretty annoyingly to fix those things. And so what I learned is that how I used to operate was I would have a problem presented to me, right? And I would code and printf debug until I figured it out. And then at like say 5 o'clock or whatever, at whatever time I was done, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, doesn't really matter. I would take this little time period and sometimes I'd leave notes. Sometimes I didn't need to leave notes, right? Most honestly, 99% of the time I never left myself notes, but I would effectively know what happened in here. And the next day I would start up and do it. Whereas there's something kind of new and interesting about this world with AI because you start something, you ask it a question, and 20 minutes later, you get an answer. 20 minutes later, you get an answer. 20 minutes later, you get an answer. Then maybe you do one of these bigger things that take, like, because sometimes some of my stuff that I execute takes like 5 hours to complete, but it completes like off the chart. And so then all of a sudden at night, I'm like, dude, if I just go look at it, I could kick off another like 4, 5, 10-hour work that goes off and does its own thing again. So while I sleep in my nice little bed, you know, there's me sleeping with a boner, of course. And while I'm sleeping, it could go off and it could work for me. I think this is where a lot of this stuff like happens is that you just can't stop, right? Like you can't stop doing this game. And I feel like it's really kind of oddly addictive. Anyways, there you go. I just figured we'd talk about this because this is kind of like this is a very interesting video, a very interesting moment. I think a lot of people feel unique about this. By the way, I can't believe Theo actually did the joke as a reality. I bet people felt similar about assembly to when C gained popularity. This also isn't true. So for those that don't know, way back in the day, back when it was only machine / you put it on punch cards, and then someone was trying to attempt to create Fortran, which was the first one. There was actually another language before Fortran. I can't seem to remember what it was. The reason why people were so visceral against it is because it produced very unoptimized code, which caused a lot of slowdowns. And when you only operate on the kilohertz scale or just the hertz scale, it hurts a lot when you generate bad instructions. Every instruction is feelable. And so Fortran, its whole goal was to be able to produce code that basically someone who's hand-rolling assembly would also produce. And so very, very good. And so as time went forward, all the way up until when C was created, C's output also is really, it was not as good as if you could, I mean, to this day, it's not as good. FFmpeg talks about getting ridiculous percentage increases in processing because they hand roll their own assembly. And so when I see these kind of things, to me, that wasn't a joke. That was actually like this, to me, this was actually like a real, like this is a real take. I always found that to be this take or this thought process to be really silly because you're going from one determinism to another determinism and you're sacrificing, what you're doing is you're sacrificing performance and control of the computer for a easier way to express the same thing, but you have to give up a couple things. It's the exact same thing from, what's it called? From say someone who wants to write Go on the server to writing TypeScript on the server. You're going to have a lot of easier things when you're writing TypeScript, right? But you're giving up some of the control. And so this keeps on happening. This is kind of like a perennial argument. It's a different style of argument. But when you go from writing code to giving it to an agent, you are not just giving up, you're not giving up one for one. You're giving up predictability for unpredictable. Something that works for 10 days straight on an agent will all of a sudden stop working. And this has already happened to me multiple times in projects where I have pre-set up prompts to get out information. And then just one day, sorry, that just no longer works. Why? I don't know. It just doesn't. It don't work no more. That's because that's how it works. Isn't C non-deterministic? And well, I mean, this is kind of a silly way to put it. It's determinate. I think you're confusing a few things there. It wasn't even had too much context. It was just a different thing. It was just a very interesting experience that I've had. And so when I see this, I don't think the trade-off's one for one, right? We're talking about two very, very, very different trade-offs. One, and another one that I don't think people really mention is that Dario and Sam Altman, they own you when you fully agentically program, or whatever model you're using. Whatever model you're using, it owns you. You aren't going to be able to take your code base and make new features yourself. It's going to be a rat's nest, and you know it. I don't care who's out there saying, no, I make beautiful AI code. No, you don't. It's going to be awful, and the only way forward is to spend more money with that company. It is like single-handedly one of the craziest trade-offs I've ever seen. I want Kimmy K to own me, absolutely. And so it's a much different, the trade-off is much different. I just want to throw that out there. Right. I don't think you can put the two on the same page. Anyways, all right, hey, the name. This video was only 12 minutes, and I'm afraid that I may have just gone 2 hours on this. Jen,